I'm pleased to say that the cats have joined us for this video. Or, well, Ellie has, and a bit of Emily's tail. Anyway, hello, and welcome to, or back to, my channel. I'm Kit, and here we talk about harmful beliefs and ideas promoted by certain influencers, content creators, and so on. And today, well, the TradCons and red pillars are fighting again. Before we get into it, I would like to note that I don't know these people, and these are my thoughts and opinions on the content they put out for public consumption. That being said, thank you for clicking on this video, and I would like to give extra thanks to my patrons. Links to my socials and Patreon are below, along with sources and resources, and now, on to the reason we're all here. For years, TradCons and red pillars mostly ignored one another, and since last year, it's like they can't stop clashing. Most recently, Myron Gaines of the Fresh and Fit podcast, and if you have no idea what that is, I'll link one of my videos on them, but also, you don't want to know, has issued a challenge to Chase of, well, he became famous because of his appearances on the Whatever podcast, so Chase of the Whatever podcast, and I'll link my video on him as well because, whoo-hoo, this dude is not someone I would trust. And honestly, neither of these men have any respect for women as people. One of them just tries to pretend they do in limited circumstances. If you know your place, you're cool with Chase. Unintentional rhyme, but I couldn't resist. Unsurprisingly, one of them had to drag feminism into this, and red pill is still not feminism for men, but we'll discuss that later. I'm really not sure what set this off. I think Chase might have said something about red pill encouraging degeneracy, but Myron has had enough. I challenge Sovereign Brah, Lila Grace Rose, Sydney L. Watson, Michael J. Knowles, or any TradCon from Daily Wire to debate the red pill on the Fresh and Fit pod. I will either stay a neutral host or be in the debate depending on what the opposition prefers. It will be Rational Male, Waller 7J, Sartain Podcast, Paleo ChristCon on the red pill side. Let's put the two ideas to the test through debate. Don't back out now. Let's take a moment to appreciate that Myron's co-host is not on his debate team. Anyway, I've never heard of Paleo ChristCon before, and it turns out that that's Andrew Wilson, husband to Rachel Wilson, also known as Rach for Patriarchy. I'm a little confused as to why a Christian would be on the red pill team, but this was Chase's response. Myron, challenge accepted. Let's settle this like men for the whole world to see. My team is already assembled. Mike Pantile, This is Foster, and Timotheology. Michael J. Knowles is invited as well. We're fully prepared to crush the degenerate rhetoric coming out of the red pill sphere and to offer actual solutions to the issues facing the sexes in our culture. However, there is one caveat. The debate needs to take place in Santa Barbara. I have an elderly family member I care for and I cannot leave her right now. So I propose we do this on the Whatever podcast instead. I know you view us as competition and this will be a massive stream. I've already done the legwork to make this worth your while. Brian Atlas has agreed to split the show's revenue 40-40 with Fresh and Fit. The other 20% will go to the show's participants. Brian has also offered for you to simulcast it to your FNF Rumble channel. You can keep all profits from your Rumble stream. Brian has no dog in this fight, so he will be a neutral moderator here. You cannot moderate this. You've publicly blasphemed Christ, talked a lot of shit, and use your platform to push degeneracy in our culture. You need to be in this debate. Rational Male, Sartain Podcast, and Paleo ChristCon have already agreed to do it on Whatever. It all comes down to you and Waller J7. You game? If you're thinking this prompted responses about how clearly Chase is failing at patriarchy because a female family member should be caring for the elderly family member, you're correct. Also, it sounds as though he recently flew out to DC to appear on Tim Pool's channel, so Chase is not winning this argument. And from here, it got ugly. Myron, we aren't going to California. It makes zero sense for us. Figure something out or you can sit out the debate. Chase, already pussied out. We just proposed an offer that works for everyone and that Fresh and Fit will personally profit from. Everyone but you is on board. Stop being lazy and come hash this out like a man. Pussied out? You're the pussy for trying to drastically change the terms. Lazy? Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? We are the hardest working pod on YouTube. You bums haven't been on in over a month. We stream triple the amount you do and cover all different types of topics. Let me be clear about this. This is an opportunity for you. You don't dictate how we run the debate. This isn't about money, it's principle. The originator doesn't go on the copycat. We are not going on Whatever when we are superior in every way. Production, staff, equipment, studio, setup, logistics, and the host can't even properly moderate OnlyFans girls. You can come on Fresh and Fit or not do the debate. Simple. Chase. Sorry, dude. You aren't qualified to moderate this debate. Needs to be a neutral party. Propose a solution that works for everyone, or accept the solution already proposed. Everyone's on board here except you. Before we look at Myron's reaction, let's take a moment to remember that both of these men believe men should lead women because men are more logical, more rational, and God. Yeah. As expected, people are trying to switch the venue and platform this red pill versus TradCon debate will go on. Here is why this will be on the Fresh and Fit pod only, unless Joe Rogan, Lex Fridman, or another significantly larger creator wants to host. We are the #1 red pill/men's podcast in the world. We average 10 to 15,000 live viewers on YouTube and about 20,000 live on Rumble simultaneously. Going on any other platform is counterproductive when we have the biggest audience in this realm, exceptions listed above. We will not go on a competitor's platform that copied our format. Also, we will be limited with poor moderation and censorship. The beginning can be broadcasted on YouTube, but Rumble is ideal to avoid censorship. We have the best production quality of any podcast and have a dedicated staff that runs audio, video, and camera switching with 13 plus camera angles. We have successfully hosted multiple debates like this from a neutral standpoint and on topics way more sensitive than Red Pill versus TradCon. We did a JQ debate before October 7th, 2023, with 100,000 watching live. We have experience doing this. People can complain, but everything I said is fact. The debate will be the most successful on Fresh and Fit. This was actually a reasonable response from Myron. And yes, I am surprised. He laid out his points and didn't insult anyone. And Chase, well, he goes into conspiracy mode. Time to go scorched earth. By promoting degeneracy and anti-Christian values, the red pill sphere and feminism are viciously feeding into one another to destroy American culture. And frankly, I'm beginning to suspect something quite dark is going on in the red pill sphere. Let's take a quick history lesson in this video from Christine Grace. Second wave feminists explicitly wanted to destroy 3 things: the American family, biblical patriarchy, monogamy. There are many weapons they used to achieve these goals. One weapon was to push a culture of sexual promiscuity. I find this quite ironic considering the influencers in the red pill community are pushing promiscuity, advocating against marriage, and telling us we all need to adapt and submit to feminism. The people in the sphere claim to care about feminism while advocating for the exact weapons that feminists use to perpetuate feminism. I see 2 possible realities here. These people are nihilistic and brain-dead hedonists, or something far darker is going on here. And perhaps it is. I don't know. Perhaps the major influencers of the red pill sphere are connected to some sort of psychological operation to perpetuate feminism and further destroy the family. Sound ridiculous? Maybe, maybe not. By his own admission, Myron Gaines is a former federal agent for the DHI. Pearl Davis's mother, Jennifer Davis, worked for some sort of UN Women's Council for Gender Equality. By their own admission, Andrew and Tristan Tate's father was CIA. Interesting details, eh? A bit of an odd coincidence that the red pill sphere's largest influencers have connections to globalism, intelligence, and the federal government. And that they're pushing a culture of promiscuity that perpetuates feminism. And that Pearl and Myron themselves are going further by actively advocating for cultural submission to feminism and telling everyone that Jesus Christ can't fix anything or anyone. Why are they pushing the exact kind of degeneracy that feminists used to destroy the family? Why are they pushing back so hard against anyone who calls them out for it and anyone proposing solutions? These people are either, interesting language for a Christian, or perhaps it's possible we're witnessing an operation in real time. I don't know. Either way, one thing is absolutely clear. Biblical patriarchy is Jesus Christ's solution to restoring the family, restoring harmony between the sexes, and reversing the vicious downward spiral of feminism and the rhetoric of the red pill sphere. This attempt to link red pill with feminism is so nonsensical that Chase should be ashamed of himself. I cannot believe I have to say this, but having sex without being married, having multiple sexual partners, encouraging people to have sex, does not make one a feminist. The core belief, the most important thing, the thing that makes feminism feminism, is the belief that men and women are equal. Thinking women shouldn't vote, wanting to ban birth control because you think women misuse it, thinking there's some sort of female nature, and not only some sort of female nature, but a female nature that is vicious and underhanded and must be checked by men lest it ruin the world, is not feminist. Red pillars disagree with Chase on a lot of things, but they are not feminists. And let's be honest, this whole debate would be both of them shitting on women, but while Myron thinks women are only good for sex, Chase sees them as useful for the 3 C's: cleaning, cooking, and children. And they would both hate on this imaginary modern woman, which Myron would say is all women, and Chase would say that, no, if you can find a good Christian woman, that's a whole different thing, and Myron would scoff at the idea of such a woman existing. Even a good Christian woman is just a modern woman lying in wait to take down a man. Chase would call Myron degenerate, Myron would call Chase beta, they would accuse each other of misleading men, and I doubt they would even get to the point of discussing solutions. As for the Christine Grace Smith clip, she's on Pearl's payroll, so how does Chase not figure she's part of this agenda? And her research skills are on par with Pearl's.
Kate Millett, she was an American feminist, author, and artist. She is the founder of the National Organization for Women. Her sister, Mallory, was invited to one of the first meetings that established the National Organization for Women. So this is a feminist group that has been around since the start of the feminist movement, and they basically pioneered the whole movement. And she opened the meeting with the following back and forth recitation. So this is how the beginning of the meeting went. "Why are we here today?" she asked. "To make revolution," they answered. "What kind of revolution?" "The cultural revolution." "How do we make cultural revolution?" "By destroying the American family." "How do we destroy the family?" "By destroying the American patriarch." "And how do we destroy the American patriarch?" "By taking away his power." "And how do we do that?" "By destroying monogamy." "And how do we destroy monogamy?" "By promoting promiscuity, eroticism, prostitution, and homosexuality."
There is just so much wrong here. For one, there was no single founder of the National Organization for Women. For two, Kate Millett is not listed as one of the 49 founders. For three, I'll link their statement of purpose, written by Betty Friedan and Polly Murray in 1966 below, but here is what it says about marriage. We do not accept the traditional assumption that a woman has to choose between marriage and motherhood on the one hand and the serious participation in industry or the professions on the other. We reject the current assumptions that a man must carry the sole burden of supporting himself, his wife, and family, and that a woman is automatically entitled to lifelong support by a man upon her marriage, or that marriage, home, and family are primarily women's world and responsibility, hers to dominate, his to support. We believe that a true partnership between the sexes demands a different concept of marriage and equitable sharing of the responsibilities of home and children and of the economic burdens of their support. We believe that proper recognition should be given to the economic and social value of homemaking and childcare. To these ends, we will seek to open a re-examination of laws and mores governing marriage and divorce, for we believe that the current state of half equality between the sexes discriminates against both men and women and is the cause of much unnecessary hostility between the sexes. And finally, Kate Millett's sister, Mallory. Kate passed in 2017, and since then, Mallory went on Suzanne Benker's podcast, Behind the Scenes of Feminism's Destructive Legacy. She spoke at an Eagle Forum, founded by Phyllis Schlafly conference, Radical Feminism, My First-Hand Account. She also gave an interview to the Eagle Forum, My Sister Kate, where she stated, "I get a kick out of the feminist love affair with the word empowerment. They have clever formulas for ensnaring hapless souls into their deceits. One of their slicker moves is to create a vocabulary designed to get around long-held beliefs, mores, taboos, or fears. Pro-choice is their newspeak euphemism for the casual murder of a human being. Dreamers means illegal immigrants. Progressives denotes a group dragging us back to the cave. Sanctuary city means a place where no actual U.S. citizen is safe. This empowerment thing makes me especially crazy. We need only go back to Eden in Genesis, where God commanded Adam not to eat a certain apple. Eve demanded he eat it. Adam obeyed Eve against the will of God himself. That's not power. It only proves that man will do anything to please woman, even if it means going against the wishes of his almighty creator. The point of the story is not that woman is evil, but that woman is all-powerful and definitely runs the show." And finally, she went on the Jeff Dornik show. My sister was a feminazi behind the Marxist hijacking of education, libraries, and government, and this is the description of the episode. Politic Rick and Mallory Millett from the Giant Slayers joined this episode of The Jeff Dornik Show to break down exactly how the Marxists were able to successfully infiltrate every aspect of American life for the purpose of destroying our nation from within. In fact, Mallory shared that her sister, Kate, was behind the normalizing of polygamy, bestiality, Satanism, pornography, promiscuity, witchcraft, and pedophilia, as well as the hijacking of the schools, libraries, and government. Kate was a very busy woman, Or Mallory is full of it. I can see why she waited for her sister's death before going on her media tour. And please forgive me if I don't find her retelling of the first meeting of Now to be truthful. In fact, I doubt she was even there. I looked into where Smith's story came from, and it seems to originate from the Ethics and Public Policy Center, which is an institute that works to apply the riches of the Jewish and Christian traditions to contemporary questions of law, culture, and politics in pursuit of America's continued civic and cultural renewal. From the article, Mallory Millette, Kate's sister, has been telling the story of the 12 women Kate brought together in New York City in the late 1960s and early 70s. These are the women who laid the groundwork for second-wave feminism, which gave way to the world of woke. It was 1969, and she took me to a meeting at her friend Lila Karp's place in Greenwich Village, Mallory explained to me for my book, The Anti-Mary Exposed. At a consciousness-raising, an idea imported from Mao's China, 12 women gathered at a large table. They opened with a type of litany from the Catholic Church, but this time it was Marxism, the church of the left. The litany went like this. "Why are we here today?" the chairwoman asked. "To make revolution," they answered. "What kind of revolution?" she replied. "The cultural revolution," she chanted. "And how do we make cultural revolution?" she demanded. "By destroying the American family," they answered. "How do we destroy the family?" she came back. "By destroying the American patriarch," they cried exuberantly. "And how do we destroy the American patriarch?" she probed. "By taking away his power." "How do we do that?" "By destroying monogamy," they shouted. "How can we destroy monogamy?" "By promoting promiscuity, eroticism, prostitution, abortion, and homosexuality," they resounded. Read the last line again. These were not things that were a part of American culture, although burgeoning then with the sexual revolution, but all of them have been achieved, probably beyond the wildest dreams of those present, by this very specific targeting. I don't know where Smith got the idea Kate Millette founded Now, or that this was the first meeting of Now, but altogether it sounds like Mallory Millette is another conservative anti-feminist. And she's making the rounds now that her sister can't refute what she says or sue her for slander. I honestly didn't expect it to be this bad when I looked up Mallory Millette, but wow. And these people just eat it up, no proof necessary. They really want to believe that behind every feminist is a dictator who promotes bestiality and pedophilia, and they will throw attention at anyone willing to confirm it, regardless of whether or not it's true. The last thing I wanted to mention was the sheer number of people begging Myron to invite Nick Fuentes to the debate. And until the rabbit hole I just went down with the Millette sisters, that was the most disturbing thing to me. Really, neither of these groups are safe for women, nor are they beneficial to society as a whole. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.